The young and the restless spoilers suggest this week is going to turn everything upside down. Sharon and Phyllis, the longtime rivals, will find themselves abducted and held captive together. In the meantime, Billy Abbott will be blindsided as Nick and Daniel discover something big. Also, watch out as Audra Charles tries to play smart with boundaries. Let's dive into the details of everything that is coming next week. The young and the restless spoilers. Sharon and Phyllis are at a mental institution. For starters, Sharon and Phyllis are in for the shock of their lives. These two enemies are locked up together in an old mental institution, and escaping won't be easy. Forced to work together, Sharon and Phyllis will have no choice but to support each other in order to survive their captivity. The duo will be pushed to their psychological limits as situations escalate. Even though they might get out of it alive, they will deal with some scary trauma until then. Meanwhile, Billy Abbott has no idea he's being left out of something major. With Phyllis missing, Nick Newman and Daniel Romalotti Jr. are onto something big. Instead of looping Billy in, they're keeping it all hush-hush. And let's be honest, Billy doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to handling delicate situations. It seems Nick and Daniel believe Billy's usual impulsive ways could ruin their effort. Damien Kane is making moves. Audra plays smart. Next up, Damien Kane is stepping up his game both in romance and family matters. He's determined to win over Lily Winters, and his charm offensive is in full swing. At the same time, he's looking to patch things up with Amy Louise, which could prove to be more difficult than he expected it to be. Speaking of family, Damien and Nate Hastings might finally take the first steps toward building a real brotherly bond. Victor Newman is also looking into Damien's sneaky past. We know that the Newman patriarch isn't one to trust easily, and his suspicions are only growing, especially when it comes to Damien's connection to Aristotle Dumas. Later, Michael Baldwin will also drop some bombshells so Victor might plan his next move. Elsewhere in GC, Audra Charles is making it clear to Holden Novak that there are rules to follow. She's setting boundaries, but Holden doesn't seem like the type to take orders. Also, Audra hasn't been entirely honest about her past with Holden. Sure, she told Nate Hastings some details, but her romance with Holden was a lot more passionate and complicated than she let on. For more such The Young and the Restless spoilers, keep following Soap Opera Daily. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers remain stuck in captivity. But who's responsible for their nightmare? The answer depends on the motive behind all this. Phyllis and Sharon have done plenty of debating about what exactly their captor wants. Sometimes Sharon and Phyllis think they're meant to sort out their differences, but they've also wondered whether their captor wants them to destroy each other. Y and R spoilers have played this up as a life-threatening situation, and the distorted voice delivering orders insisted the prize of this game was staying alive. There's a chance this is the work of some past villain that'll ultimately be revealed. However, it's also possible that someone who cares about both Sharon and Phyllis has had enough of their antics. This may be a drastic last resort to convince Phyllis and Sharon to move beyond their issues. It's worth mentioning that Sharon and Phyllis aren't exactly being hurt here. They've even got access to coffee in the morning. Their captor seems fairly considerate under the circumstances and has thought of everything. There's also the matter of these riddles connected to Phyllis and Sharon's history, right down to the song that was playing at the charity event they fought at. The person to blame knows a ton about Sharon and Phyllis' conflict over the years. Who would know all these historical facts and care enough about pushing the women to make peace? Could it be Michael Baldwin who's behind this double kidnapping and the strange game that's going down? It seems cruel for Michael to make Sharon and Phyllis' families worry after the ordeals they've already been through lately. That said, maybe Michael's hoping the phone calls will suffice until these two can call a truce. As for the drugging that Phyllis and Sharon believe happened, what if it wasn't quite that sinister? Perhaps it'll eventually be revealed that Michael slipped Sharon and Phyllis some sleepy time tea that was perfectly natural and harmless. Likewise, all this talk about playing the game to stay alive may be nothing more than a scare tactic. Whatever the case, there's no denying that the captor's pattern of speech could fit for Michael. Despite the distorted sound, there's something so Michael-ish about some of the words and phrases coming through that speaker. In the February 28 episode, the mysterious voice greeted the ladies and later responded to Sharon's valid request by suggesting that he'd consider a commensurate prize. Michael is a lawyer with a flair for the dramatic, so he often speaks rather formally like that. It's possible Victor Newman is involved, but he's definitely not the person talking to Sharon and Phyllis. Victor was busy having a conversation with Nick Newman and Nikki Newman when the captor was delivering instructions. Plus, it's hard to believe Victor would care enough about Phyllis and Sharon getting along to be part of this elaborate ruse. Michael's the one with the motive for bringing these two women together. When Victor summoned Michael recently, Michael thought it might be about the Jabot spies and his plot against Jack Abbott. It was actually about Victor wanting info on Damien Kane's connection to Aristotle Dumas. You'd think there would have been veiled talk about some other thing Michael was handling if Victor was in on this. Perhaps Michael is flying solo on this one, though Victor might know what he's up to. Regardless, Michael makes the most sense when we add up all the captor clues, at least so far. That could change as the game progresses, but all signs certainly seem to be pointing to Michael at the moment. If Michael is indeed to blame, he may pay the price. You can bet Michael will face major backlash if Sharon, Phyllis, and their loved ones find out he took his plan to such an extreme level. The young and the restless spoilers say Michael could land in some hot water, so we'll bring you predictions on the fallout and updates on any shocking news ahead. The week of March 3-7 brings shocking twists as a dangerous mystery unfolds in The Young and the Restless. Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers vanish without a trace, leaving their loved ones in turmoil. Their sudden disappearance isn't a mere accident. It's the beginning of a chilling conspiracy that threatens to unravel secrets long buried. A mysterious abduction. Nick Newman's world is turned upside down when he learns that Sharon, a woman who has played a pivotal role in his life, has gone missing alongside Phyllis. The two women, known for their tumultuous past, find themselves trapped in a decrepit psychiatric ward, held captive by a shadowy figure whose motives remain unknown. The eerie surroundings and cryptic messages from their captor hint at a sinister plan far beyond a simple kidnapping. Meanwhile, Victor Newman senses danger lurking beneath the surface. As the patriarch of the Newman family, he refuses to stand by idly while chaos unfolds. Although Sharon has been a source of conflict within the family, her vanishing act raises red flags for Victor. He fears that Nick's emotional ties to Sharon might cloud his judgment, putting him in harm's way. Victor's warning, will Nick listen? Determined to intervene, Victor confronts Nick at the Newman estate. You're too blind, son, Victor warns, his voice filled with concern. This isn't just about Sharon being missing. This is something bigger, something darker. Nick, torn between his father's warnings and his love for Sharon, refuses to back down. Sharon is more than just my past. She's someone I love, he fires back. I won't stand by while she's in danger. Despite Victor's plea, Nick embarks on his own search, unwilling to accept that Sharon's past could be hiding deadly truths. As he digs deeper, he uncovers chilling evidence suggesting that the kidnapping is linked to long-held Newman family secrets. Sharon and Phyllis, forced to work together. Inside the cold, decaying facility, Sharon and Phyllis struggle to understand why they have been targeted. They are forced to confront their own past betrayals and rivalries, realizing that survival means working together. Phyllis, always the strategist, scours the room for possible escape routes, while Sharon begins piecing together cryptic clues left by their captor. Their escape attempt is far from simple. Every step forward reveals more terrifying obstacles. The women start questioning whether their abduction is connected to something personal or if they have become pawns in a bigger game. Nick's dangerous journey. While Sharon and Phyllis fight for their freedom, Nick is closer to uncovering their whereabouts. His relentless pursuit leads him to a secluded area, where he encounters a deadly hitman sent to ensure no one reaches the captives. A brutal fight ensues, leaving Nick gravely wounded. Bleeding and barely conscious, he realizes that time is running out, not just for himself, but for Sharon and Phyllis as well. Back at Newman Enterprises, Victor receives word of Nick's injuries. Despite their differences, he rushes to his son's side, fearing that this ordeal may cost him more than he ever anticipated. A life-altering escape. Inside the facility, Phyllis and Sharon make a final, desperate move. Using a hidden passage, they manage to break free, only to stumble upon Nick's battered body outside. The sight of Nick, barely holding on to life, shakes them both to the core. As they seek help, Sharon and Phyllis come to an unexpected realization. Their survival has forged an unbreakable bond. Years of rivalry and resentment suddenly feel insignificant in the face of what they've endured together. But even as they escape, one question remains: who was behind their abduction, and what deadly secret still lurks in the shadows? The fallout begins. With Nick fighting for his life and the Newman family in turmoil, the consequences of this harrowing event are only beginning to unfold. The mystery surrounding Sharon and Phyllis's disappearance will send shockwaves through Genoa City, changing alliances and revealing dark truths that could shatter Leeds forever. Will Nick survive? Who was the mastermind behind the kidnapping? And most importantly, has Sharon truly escaped her past, or is the real danger just beginning? The mystery of who kidnapped Sharon and Phyllis didn't seem like much of a head-scratcher at all, until new twists took us down an unexpected path. Now, the trapped young and restless rivals are struggling to make sense of what's happened to them, and we've been left second-guessing our original theory. When Phyllis first went missing, followed by Sharon in short order, our minds immediately jumped to the conclusion that Ian Ward was behind their disappearances. After all, viewers are well aware that he survived the shootout with Victor at the ranch, and he wanted nothing more than to get rid of Sharon when he came back to town. Ian also has a past with Phyllis, and let's face it, taking Nick's two exes captive is a surefire way to torment the Newman clan. But new developments have cast some doubt on this theory, as we, Sharon and Phyllis, question their abductor's motivation. It's come to light that the person responsible for Sharon and Phyllis' kidnapping has a detailed knowledge of their history, right down to the song that was playing the night they fought on the stairs at the MS charity ball. Might it be someone who was in attendance at the event that night that has turned up out of the blue to put them through their paces in the abandoned mental hospital? What it all comes down to is motivation. Ian loves a good mind game and could be doing this for some sort of revenge on the Newmans, but he'd have to have made quite the remarkable recovery from a near-fatal gunshot wound to be up to this level of mischief so soon. Sharon and Phyllis, meanwhile, have realized that their captor wants one of two things: either to torment the women to the point that they turn on each other and perhaps even kill each other, or to force them to put their differences aside and work together, perhaps with an endgame of dousing the animosity between them entirely. While there are a few people we can think of that might desperately want them to stop fighting, we're hard-pressed to think of who would be so invested as to take it to the extreme of locking them up, creating a straight-up escape room, and most importantly, threatening to kill them. Not to mention, given Sharon's recent past, it would be downright cruel. Who would kidnap them and force them to work together in hopes that they turn on each other? That's a tough one too, as there aren't too many suspects who despise both women to that degree. What we've got here is a genuine mystery, soaps readers. Any ideas as to who is behind the abduction of Sharon and Phyllis if it's not Ian Ward? Don't miss our list of possible suspects in the gallery attached. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, March 3, reveal that Billy Abbott's Vengeful launch will get underway while Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson go public. Y and R fans know Chelsea was appreciative when Adam cooked for her and offered a quiet evening at home. It allowed Adam and Chelsea to avoid the questions they might have faced during a dinner out together. However, Chelsea will apparently decide she's willing to risk those questions and any naysayers who might spot them on Monday's show. Adam and Chelsea will head to Crimson Lights for coffee and a muffin, so they won't be afraid of being seen together in public. Naturally, visiting the coffee house is pretty much the quickest way to run into someone you don't want to see in Genoa City. That's why Chelsea and Adam shouldn't be surprised when Billy pops up for a latte of his own. Although part of Billy knew Adam and Chelsea's reunion was inevitable, it'll still sting to see them looking all cozy at a table. Billy may pick up on the evolution of their relationship and suggest it didn't take long for Chelsea to surrender to what Adam wanted. It might bring a "don't say I didn't warn you" type of comment from Billy, since he knows how Adam operates. During this run-in, Adam will ultimately ask if today's when Billy officially launches his attack, both on Newman Media and on Adam himself. Despite Billy's claims that he's not dwelling on revenge anymore, Adam may think the fact that he chose a communications company for his next project is telling. Launching Abbott Communications certainly makes it seem like Billy still wants to target Newman Media, so Adam will keep his guard up. Billy may deny having any dirty tricks up his sleeve, but he might add that Adam had better be ready for some fierce competition. Of course, we know Billy's been giving secret orders to someone over the phone, including one that involved a deep dive on everything happening at Chancellor since Nikki Newman took over. Billy obviously still has some vengeful goals in play, even if he's not willing to admit them yet. Since Adam and Billy will push each other's buttons on Monday's episode, our predictions point to Chelsea trying to keep the peace. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Billy will continue down a risky path, so stay tuned for updates on his true motives and any other launch-related news. In the oppressive silence of a dimly lit room, the true orchestrator of this deadly game revealed himself, a twisted mastermind whose perverse delight lay in toying with his captives. He was a man who thrived on control and humiliation, using a central loudspeaker as both his instrument and his voice. Through that cold, unfeeling device, he mocked his unwilling participants, Sharon and Phyllis, issuing commands that chilled the very marrow of their bones. Every word he uttered dripped with menace, a reminder that defiance was not an option if they wished to survive. Phyllis, already on the verge of breaking, felt the pressure mounting until it became unbearable. With her mind teetering on the brink of panic, she snatched a chair from the corner of the room, a desperate, futile act of rebellion against her unseen tormentor. Her hands trembled as she raised the chair, ready to smash the glass of a nearby window in an attempt to break free from the confinement of her nightmare. But just as the chair neared its mark, the booming voice over the loudspeaker rang out again, a harsh warning that sent a jolt of terror through her. "Do that, and you will die." Sharon, ever the voice of reason amid chaos, reached out with urgent, calming words. "Phyllis, please stay calm," she pleaded, her tone measured and resolute. Having been kidnapped twice before, Sharon had learned to navigate the treacherous waters of fear with a cautious confidence. Experience had honed her ability to keep her emotions in check, a skill that now allowed her to serve as the anchor in this tempest of terror. "If you lose control, we're finished," she added, her eyes never leaving Phyllis's desperate form. Phyllis's inner turmoil was palpable, the pounding in her head amplified by the piercing music that the loudspeakers suddenly unleashed. Every beat of the ominous melody reverberated through her skull, a cruel reminder that pain was an inevitable part of this twisted ordeal. Yet, deep within her, a spark of determination began to glow. She knew that surrendering to panic would only further tighten the kidnapper's grip on them both. Despite the searing pain and the overwhelming urge to lash out, she realized that if she was to escape, she had to master her fear and cooperate with Sharon. In that critical moment, the balance of power between terror and resilience shifted subtly. Sharon's calm influence served as a lifeline, a reminder that there was still a path forward, even in the heart of despair. "I know it hurts," Sharon whispered gently, placing a hand on Phyllis's shoulder. "But we must keep our wits about us. We can outsmart him if we work together." Phyllis, though trembling and angry, managed a nod. It was a silent agreement, a promise that despite the chaos, they would not allow this deadly puppeteer to dictate the final act of their lives. The young and the restless spoilers, Victor Newman's growing suspicion, and the ultimate confession. In the labyrinthine corridors of Genoa City's power, where every relationship is entangled in webs of intrigue and ulterior motives, Victor Newman finds himself wrestling with a growing unease. Outwardly, he has long projected support for Claire and Cole, a duo carefully cultivated to forge closer ties with the Newman dynasty and the formidable Victoria. Yet, behind Victor's warm smiles and reassuring nods lies a mind that never rests, a mind determined to expose any hidden agendas lurking beneath the surface. A seed of suspicion. For years, Victor's instincts have been sharpened by betrayal and the treachery of those who dared to mislead him. Although he publicly champions Claire and Cole inwardly, he harbors persistent doubts. Whispers of deception and carefully concealed truths have reached his ears, and he has begun to suspect there is more to the duo than meets the eye. Victor's internal battle intensifies as he observes the subtle gestures and furtive glances exchanged between Claire and Cole, moments that hint at a connection deeper than a mere working relationship. While he remains outwardly supportive, his trusted confidant, Michael Baldwin, and others within the Newman circle have taken it upon themselves to investigate Claire and Cole's murky past. Their relentless inquiry soon unveils a shocking truth. The duo is not bound by blood ties, as many assumed. Instead, they are revealed to be allies once connected through a shared association with Jordan, nothing more. The mastermind revealed. As Michael's investigation deepens, a startling discovery emerges. A small group of individuals familiar with Claire's life and Cole's true history come forward with crucial testimony. Their accounts reveal that the carefully projected image of Claire is nothing but a facade. In truth, Claire has been the mastermind behind an elaborate deception, meticulously crafting an identity for herself and Cole. Her daring scheme was designed to create the illusion of legitimacy and familial ties, paving their path into the inner sanctum of the Newman Empire and drawing them closer to Victoria. The plot is multilayered. DNA evidence, once deemed indisputable proof of their familial bonds, has been fabricated. Rather than enduring rigorous laboratory scrutiny, false results were strategically presented to validate their deception. The ruse was complete, executed so artfully that few dared to challenge the legitimacy of Claire and Cole's fabricated heritage. Victor's ultimatum. Haunted by the specter of betrayal within his trusted circle, Victor is determined to confront the deception head-on. His love for family and legacy leaves no room for compromise. To salvage what remains of his trust and protect those he holds dear, he makes a decisive move, summoning Claire and Cole to his office, a space heavy with unspoken truths and looming consequences. With measured intensity, Victor lays out his concerns. "Claire," he begins, his voice low and deliberate, "I have always believed in you. I have supported you and Cole, trusting in the bond we share as a family. But now, the evidence and voices of those who once knew you suggest a different story. I cannot allow this deception to continue. I want you to tell me everything before it's too late." It is a moment fraught with tension. For Claire, The carefully maintained facade begins to crumble under Victor's piercing scrutiny. Cole stands silently by her side, his gaze steady yet clouded by painful memories of a past he can no longer escape. Their shared history, once shrouded in ambiguity, is about to be laid bare. The confession. Faced with Victor's unwavering resolve and the undeniable evidence against them, Claire and Cole have little choice but to confess. In a somber, emotionally charged meeting, they reveal the full extent of their deception. Claire's voice trembles as she admits, "I was the architect of a grand deception. I created an identity for both of us, a story that would make us acceptable in your world, in Victoria's world. Cole and I were never father and son in the way you thought. We were simply allies, partners in a plan I designed to get closer to the Newman family." Cole, his expression a mixture of regret and resignation, adds, "I was Victoria's ex-husband. Our child died long ago. That loss changed everything. I couldn't bear the pain, and I allowed myself to be swept into this web of lies. I know now that the truth was always worth more than the fantasy we built." The confession is a bitter pill for Victor to swallow. He had once seen in them the potential to bring honor and renewal to his legacy, but that promise has now been shattered. Yet, even as he grapples with the enormity of the deception, his resolve remains unbroken. He had always hoped that transparency and truth would prevail, and though painful, this revelation represents the first step toward healing old wounds. Consequences and a new beginning. The aftermath of the confession is swift and far-reaching. The carefully constructed narrative that once held the Newman circle together lies in tatters. Trust has been violated, and the bonds that once seemed unbreakable are now riddled with fractures. Michael and the others who worked tirelessly to uncover the truth feel a sense of vindication, yet they are also burdened with the knowledge that the fallout will echo throughout Genoa City. Victor's confrontation, though painful, is also an act of mercy. His ultimatum to Claire was not solely about punishment, it was an effort to prevent further collateral damage. "I did not wish to harm the person I considered my own flesh and blood," Victor declares, his voice resolute. "My duty is to protect our family's legacy and ensure that those we hold dear are not caught in the crossfire of deceit." For Claire and Cole, the path forward is uncertain. Their actions have irrevocably altered the course of their lives, and the road to redemption will be long and fraught with challenges. Yet, within this turmoil lies the possibility of transformation, a chance to rebuild their lives on a foundation of truth. Their confession, though costly, may serve as a catalyst for a new beginning, where the ghosts of past mistakes can finally be laid to rest. A city forever changed. In the ever-turbulent world of Genoa City, where every secret eventually finds its way into the light, the grand deception orchestrated by Claire and perpetuated by Cole is a stark reminder that truth, no matter how deeply buried, will always resurface. Victor's relentless pursuit of hidden realities, even at the cost of shattering long-held beliefs, underscores the timeless struggle between illusion and reality, a struggle that defines the very essence of this storied city. As the dust settles, the repercussions of this confession will ripple outward, affecting every corner of the Newman Empire and beyond. Relationships will be tested, loyalties reevaluated, and the very fabric of Genoa's society will be forced to confront the painful truth. Yet, in this crucible of betrayal and redemption, there also lies the potential for renewal, a chance to rebuild on a foundation of honesty and integrity. Victor's legacy, the Newman legacy, has always been built on strength and resilience. In the face of this monumental deception, his commitment to protecting what truly matters remains unwavering. Though the path ahead is uncertain, one thing is clear. In Genoa City, the pursuit of truth is a journey with no end, one that, despite its trials, promises a future where the bonds of family are redefined by honesty and the enduring power of forgiveness. Abby returned to the young and the restless 4 months ago. The distressed mother sought Nate's help with an urgent family matter. However, some fans think Nate shouldn't be so trusting of Miss Louise. Is Nate being lied to? Amy was a prominent Y&R character back in the 80s. She was a colleague of Paul's and had a romance with Nathan. After leaving Genoa City in 1988, it seemed that was the last of Amy. However, in 2024, she made her surprising return. Amy tracked down Nathan's son, Nate, to drop two huge bombshells. He had a half-brother named Damien who's missing. Amy then revealed she was dying of cancer and wanted to reunite with Damien before she died. Nate agreed to help Amy, and the two bonded as they searched for Damien. Yet, some viewers believe Amy isn't trustworthy. On Reddit, fans theorized the possibility that Amy is faking her cancer. Something doesn't pass the sniff test for me about Amy's deathbed manipulations. It really feels like she's playing Nate and Audra. After everything that happened with Ashland, Nate of all people should have his radar up for someone pretending to be deathly ill but refusing expert medical care, wrote one user. Another commenter replied, "Agreed. She is milking this and it is working. Even Audra has drunk the Kool-Aid." One fan wrote, "How does someone say their life is almost over, refuse medical care, and not die? Ashland faked getting treatment and faked remission, then faked mystery cancer again. Doesn't make sense to me that she's faking. Did she need some place to live? She had dizzy spells in November." The storyline already had one twist, with Damien actually being Holden. So could more twists, like the truth about Amy's cancer, be revealed? Fans must watch as the drama unfolds with Nate, Amy, and Damien. Melissa Ordway leaving Y&R, here's why. In a surprising turn of events, the young and the restless fans are reeling as it's confirmed that Melissa Ordway, who has brought the iconic character of Abby Newman to life for years, will be leaving the show. The shocking departure has left viewers wondering why the actress is stepping away from her role and what this means for the future of Abby on the soap. Sources close to Ordway have revealed that the decision was made after much consideration, as the actress looks to pursue new opportunities outside of the daytime soap opera. While the specifics of her departure are still unclear, there have been hints that Ordway is looking to focus on other acting projects and spend more time with her family. This marks the end of an era for Y&R, as Abby's story has been integral to many key storylines. Melissa Ordway's exit is said to be amicable, with the actress reportedly leaving on good terms with the show's producers and cast. Her final scenes are expected to air in the coming weeks, with Abby's storyline wrapping up in a way that offers closure to fans who have followed her journey through the ups and downs of the Newman family. Ordway's departure leaves a significant void in Y&R, but many are eager to see how the show will handle Abby's absence and whether there will be a recast in the future. As the soap continues to evolve, it will be interesting to see how the Newman family adapts to this major change. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story.